My name is Basan. I'm Microsoft Certified SharePoint Developer. Today, I'm going to implement a claim-based authentication using external system. So, firstly, we going into the basics detail. What is a claim-based identity? This is a new type of authentication mechanism that comes into the SharePoint 2010. A trusted authority issuer signed a security token containing a set of claims which is given to the application for validation, and this application will authenticate the user if the security token is valid and signed by the trusted issuer. Application using this type of authentication do not have to verify all the credentials. So simply we have a we generate the token and redirect it to the STS, which is security token services, SharePoint security token services, and it redirected to the site and authenticate the user. So simply this is a very simple example. The claim-based authentication. Someone who's determined your company's security policy and can make those rules and buy or build this issuer. Your application simply receive the equivalent of a boarding pass no matter what authentication protocol was used, like Cabros SSL form with authentication or something else. The application gets the signed set of claim that has information it needs about the user. This information is in a simple format that the application can use the right away. So no need not to be every time entering the password. Is this type of mechanism is also called a single sign-on. Basically, this is a Geneva frameworks. This in 2010 is also called a uh, Window Identity Foundation. So the Microsoft has created a framework is called Geneva, providing simplify the user to access a single sign-on for on-premises and cloud-based application in the enterprise and across the organization and on the web. Geneva has been renamed the Window Identity Foundation and contains the logic for building a claims where ASP.NET or WCF application. The Geneva service is called Active Directory Federation Services now and is a, is a security token service STS for issuing and transforming a claim, enabling federation and managing user access. So implementation. So the currently scenario I'm going to implement this and the size. What is the scenario is user come into the external site. This is the first step. Log into the site and security token from there, and it's click or something redirecting mechanism is called, and it's redirected to the STS side, a single security token site, which are going to host in my server where the SharePoint is installed. This STS site creating a claim according to the security token and redirect it to the SharePoint site. If the user exists, then allow the user to log in as display the access nice message. This achieve this way we can achieve this using a STS SharePoint security token. And this example I'm using user ID as a claim. I will show you. and the source code file that contains the certificate, the both certificate cert or personal information certificate, and having the password I've copied into that certificate folder in STS side, and the third is the external side. It's contains just creating a token. You may have implement the login and password. I just, for this example, I just use a simple, not much more complicated one. So what we are going to do, the first step is creating a claim with authentication, web application, and SharePoint. Add certificates to server, creating claim using PowerShell scripts, and giving the permission to the certificates. Be sure to grant rights to the certificate for the application pool running in the same service. I will show you how we can do this. We just use MFC Microsoft Management Console and just add the certificates in local machine, going to the personal certificate, right click all tasks, managing private keys, and specify your application pool. And the next step, we are going to host the site and change this framework to 2.2 4.0 because we unless it will generate the error, because we are using the federation metadata and this STS site, the SharePoint site, and change the identity application pool user. We both SharePoint site and STS site having a same identity pool user, so we can change that. Creating an external site. Now, and we create the external site that will generate the token, and finally we apply the token to the SharePoint site. We just later I will show how we can do this. So just I going move to my, this is my blog. I'm currently working in a SharePoint 2010 and MS CRM 2011. I have a 3.1 experience. I worked in a various type of application, different types of frameworks I used. So this is my blog. Total user currently recently, so just 4 months old my blog. So just move into the so I move into the central administration, click on the application management and manage web application. I'm creating a new web application, as I mentioned in my first step. Thus I'm going to claim based authentication, specify this is 555. Okay, and need not to be a user SSL certificate currently, and just leave the default setting. I'm going to change my database content database name. I use underscore for blog, leave and click OK. application created successfully. Now I am going to create a site collection. Simply I got the name STS site, the STS, this is site, and blank, click the blanks and give the primary site administrator. And click OK. Now the next step, add certificate to server. We are going to do this, and now the next step, validating more into the this is a certificate I will provide you. Personal information exchange. This file contains the password, nothing else. Now I'm going to, the site is created successfully. Click into the site. Now moving to my IIS. Very slow. This is my IIS. Now double click server certificate icon. I removed this. I've already added this. I click import. It asks me for the path of and browse that path, going to that location. Location is paste path, and there is, now open it, and the password as I mentioned, abc123 hash. Click OK. Now saved certificate now is available and ready to use. Now the next step I mentioned in my, you can see this is the STS site, SharePoint site I just created. Now my next step for creating claim using PowerShell. I just mark as thread. The next step is this. I'm going to the start and PowerShell, SharePoint PowerShell, and run as administrator. Uh, so I'm creating here in this step. I just create the variable cert and root as a certificate. The both certificate I specify the path of where my certificates are available. I just make sure the path is correct. I'm going to change that path and save this file. I just run the command one by one. It's my the file. This is the PowerShell scripts available. I will provide you so I just copy and paste it into here. This first step. Second line and this, and this command will creating a certificate. The certificate, it will show you the certificate subject name, issuer, serial number, all the detail will provide you, and this certificates are going to the SharePoint 28 config database. This will register, show you. If you're going to the security link, your center administration, it will redirect to the, and you will see the managed trust. There is a certificate. If you edited the same information and the same information here, you can see this. So we register that certificate to the SharePoint using SharePoint farm using the PowerShell scripts. Now the next step, we have to create the claim. So this is the claim schema we are going to use: identity, claims, and this is the name of the claim is unique ID. The unique ID may change depend upon you may, and this is as unique ID will display incoming display name. It will display as a unique ID in here when you're going to add a user in a people picker. I will show you this. Now we just create the claim, one claim. I just going to create simple one claim. This is a SharePoint site, and this is my external site. This is a STS site, you can say. I already hosted in 8067 port. Now this will create the token, identity token. This command will create the identity token. Done. I will show you. You can, when you going to the this this is SharePoint. If you return, click on, and there is identity, trusted identity provider. There is it. So my next step is giving the permission to the certificate. As I mentioned, we have to give the permission to this certificate to access the STS site. I have already this hosted the site. I will show you. I move to this section and then give the permission to them. So we are going to do this step. Host the site to STS. The site is available there. You just copy it and this the available in my the source code I'm going to provide you. You just copy it and host it in your IS. This WSS. This is I will specify the name is STS. The support name 8067. I mention the same port in my identity, trusted identity token issuer command. It will get the token from this site. I just open the Visual Studio and I will show you. File, open, website. This is my STS website I hosted in IS. Click open. You will see the two form is a default.aspx and login.aspx. And the web file used for a configuration, like this is a issuer name, signed certificate name, HTTP mode, HTTP or HTTPS, this redirect site. This is no username. This is not going to use. So you may comment it because this is setting I'm used for. Suppose the user is not exist. So for the forcefully we can add the user to a SharePoint site forcefully by creating the claim and using the SharePoint client model to add the user to the SharePoint site. This is a SharePoint Federation data, and these are the helper classes. A utility class will help to retrieve the X509 certificate, and this is custom security token service implementation. Here this is a Microsoft provide you all the security classes. This is encryption and decryption, and this is a user. The same claim which is I mentioned in my script I use here. What it will do, will add the user. This user ID UID, I will save the ID of that user in this session, and I creating the claim from the custom user ID. This is, you can also use the sign group, the same, you can write it here, and you have to be a specify the create the another map, and you just claim mapping, you just script the $map2. That's it, nothing going to change. When the user come into the login page, it will I'm going to create the, it will redirected URL default.aspx, and this is redirected. When the user is not authenticated, we are going to check if it has a user ID. If it has a user ID, we creating the cookie, and then we redirect it to the default page, and the default page, it doing all as mechanism like requested query string parameters, it getting from the action all the parameter strings, and then it check if it is sign in, no, this is sign out action, and this is exception, and it will current user, it will add the user. So I will show you how it's work. Now our next step, I host the site, and you need not to be a very, you just copy the, it it is a working code, you just host your STS site in IIS, and you need to do the following steps. First, you need to change, I will show you my IIS. You need to change the framework 2.0 to 4.3, and change the identity pool user. I will show you. This is my STS site, and this is my STS site. You have to when you host, it will the default .NET framework is version 2.0. You change the version by double click, and next step, you go into the advanced setting, and you change the identity user. Make sure your SharePoint site, this, and your STS both having the same identity user, because it enable to making a trust, and it will causing a problem for access denied. Now the next step, this user, now we have to give the permission to SP form user to access the certificate. So we have to going to the step, I am going to the run MMC, click OK, file, snippets, certificate, add computer account, click finish, OK. Certificate tab, under personal settings, certificates, this is a certificate, going to the all task and manage private keys. Here I have to add a new user is check name, OK, apply. Okay, if you are not give this permission, it will show you the error. I mentioned over in my blog. This is the same problem the people are facing. You will get the uh, let me check where is it. Yeah, this is key set null. I think key set null. This is the error we are getting when, yeah, key does not exist. This error we are getting, we have also I've also mentioned over there. If you will not provide the right permission to a certificate to the application pool, it will give you this error. So make sure having all the permission. Close it. No. My next steps: create the external site. I have already created that site. This site is not a big issue. It just I just creating the two links, one which is redirected to the site, and I'm using the browser. I'm showing you browser. This is nothing. It's just having a URL. I have already hosted the site. This is my STS site. uh, this is the external site. The default page is nothing it but just contain the user ID 999. I will show you. Just for you make your own authentication mechanism. Suppose the site, you just get the token from the database somewhere else, or you may encrypt this 999. I'm not using into the I'm not going into the deep because you can do it your own. I just simple implementation I'm going to show you in here. I just when it's click on the user, it will taking time because I currently open. I think I change something to wire something from file. uh, my system so slow. Pause this video and now, yeah, the, the system is now working correctly. I just click here. This error you will find because you are already a sign in. Because here I'm already signed in as administrator. We have to I need to close this. Then first I need to sign out here. Sign out. Yeah. So now click same problem because when you using STS, the problem will to solve this problem single sign on. This is a problem when you have to close the browser. So sign out and